But like this is 2018. She had been with the Mariners before becoming the director of performance. So you're talking allegations from early 2000s of sexual harassment into the mid 2010s, with the former GM that was fired in 2015 to the sexual harassment. You're talking the last 20 years, and especially the last 10, have been serious issues against the front office.
Right.
Which Kevin Mather has been around for all of them.
Yeah. And that's probably what ended up leading to making it worse and worse and worse. And honestly, what all this leads to is the just utter lack of trust between the MLB and their owners and the MLB Players Union.
Yeah.
It is by far the worst relationship in all of sports between any union and the governing body.
Yeah. There's no bipartisanship.
Yeah,
anywhere.
They have zero trust. I mean, literally, when they were negotiating terms for this season, the players wanted to play all 172 games, or however many games they played.
A ton.
Yeah, too many games. Or, because they wanted to get paid for all of it.
Yeah.
So the owners literally came back and said, okay, well, we're going to play 162, but we'll still pay you for the full season. So you won't have any of your salary reduced.
Yeah.
The players still said no because they didn't trust them.
You're going to screw me somehow, and I know it.
Yeah, that's how bad this is.
Yeah.
The owners gave into a major concern of the players. They gave him, like, hey, we'll give you that so we can play a season. And the players said no because they're like, nah, you're being shady about this.
Yeah, and I think that's why you see, out of all the major league sports, you see the MLB is the biggest high-paying one because there's no salary cap. It's whatever the owner wants to give you.
Yeah.
How much he can pay you, he'll pay you. That's why you're seeing these guys like Mike Trout and all these guys get $500 million, these ridiculous contracts you don't ever see in any other sport. And I think you see it because these guys want to cash in. They know at some point that they're screwed. They're going to get killed. They're going to get thrown out the window by the ownership or by the organization, whatever is going to happen. They want to get their money. I think they want out. And I think they know that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, clearly, and like this shows, I'm sure this is not the only organization that this kind of thing is happening to,
Yeah.
That, especially the manipulating of service time, which they did with Jared Kalenic, that's been a problem in other, like, they've been, rumored that that's been going on. But this is, like, just fully, full-blown true in this aspect, in this specific occurrence, which probably happens widespread throughout the major leagues. Yeah. So basically what happens is that Jared Kalenic, the team who they think could be a superstar, they think he could be a potential superstar. He's only 21.
Yeah.
They came to him with a very team-friendly offer. It was like 6 years, with like the last 3 years being like team option, team option, team option. He turned it down because he wants to bet on himself. He's like, no, I want to be able to go and make money.
Yeah.
And basically, this pissed off Kevin Mather. So he told the Rotary Club, he's like, yeah. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start him in the minor leagues this year. We'll bring him up in April because that guarantees that he'll be under our control for one more season.
Yeah, and they can pay him dog shit and let him eat shit.
Yeah.
And we're going to control the players. And that's just like, that's mainstream. That's brand new information. You know what I mean? And you're talking, you can back 5 years of Kevin Mather being there, or at least since 2017 when he became president and CEO, that there was multiple accounts of players being just controlled and discriminated against and just taken away any potential they have to be the player that they want to be. Not only performance-wise, but paying money-wise. You gotta think of MLB is filled with a lot of players that come up from the Dominican Republic and from South America.
Oh, yeah.
The majority of the players do that, and they're all great players. But you have these guys that come up that are not so as educated as what the U.S. system can do money-wise, especially what the MLB owners can do. So they are manipulating all these guys to get the most out of them on the field, but pay them the least amount of money. Because they know they use their background as an advantage to them to take advantage of it. Yeah. Some of these guys could get paid $250 million. Like, oh, here's 87. Right. I know you take that back home and you're going to be the richest guy in South America or wherever you're from and down there. But he's worth 2 times that. But they're going to rip him off.
Yeah, it's certainly a problem. I said it earlier or in the last episode that the NBA is by far the most progressive league. Mm-hmm. It certainly looks like Major League Baseball is the least progressive.
Yeah, it's definitely down there.
It seems like it's very much still. I mean, granted, this is with most leagues in terms of old white money in terms of ownership. Mm-hmm. But the difference, it seems like in the other leagues, is that they embrace change, and the Major League Baseball just isn't. And they're they're just trying to find ways of cheating these players out of what they're worth, their time, And really, it's hurting their careers in the process.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, if you're an owner, you're just really stupid if you don't look at your players and realize that they are an investment to yourself.
Right.
I mean, without players, in any sport, without the players, you don't have anything. You don't have a sport anymore. But without these big guys pushing and advocating for the right things, not only money-wise, but the way the team is formatted, the coachings, all that stuff, if you don't have guys down there that actually seriously care about what's going to happen with them and the team that they play for, then you're really just failing as a whole organization. You're just wasting time. You're wasting everybody's time in the organization. You're wasting the fans' time to watch your crappy team play because you don't give a crap about what the players think or what they want or what they feel.
Right, and you think about in the case of the Mariners, have the longest playoff drought in the all sports right now.
Yeah,
and all of Major League sports in the U.S. have the longest drought. It's almost I think we're right at 20 years now.
Yeah,
and that's been basically the entire time Kevin Mather's been there. And
pretty much.
If that's the case, where I'm sure it's not like he was the start of it. I'm sure it started before that with it trickled down to him and so on and so forth. Of like the poor relationship, the manipulation, the bad work environment. Clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
That probably didn't start with him, but it didn't end with him either. And no one's come into this organization and be like, this is wrong. It needs to change.
Yeah.
Luckily, stories like this is the first sign that like change will happen because now you have to. Because if you don't, you're gonna be eaten alive.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious where they go with it. One of the owners are taking the role of president CEO. They're just combining their roles with Kevin Mather of what he held previously. So I'm curious of what they'll do if they'll refill that position.
Probably not before. Probably not this season. We're too close to the season starting. Spring training just started.
Right. I'd like to see them just this year just try to get a culture back to a winning culture. Right. Even if they don't play good this season, try to put the steps in place and your preparation for the game and like you're having the ownership be a part of like the daily processes, show your interest,
right?
Not just from the front office view. Get personal with your team and start rebranding that culture.
Oh, for sure. And to kind of bring this back into kind of a micro view of just the Mariners, the timing of this in terms of like the Mariners for the first time in a long time show like a bright future because of these young. We have a very good. Their farm system has gone great. Yeah. Kalenic is there. The other kid from the Latino kid, Julio Rodriguez. He's a really good prospect. He's like the number 2 prospect and a top 10 prospect in the major leagues. I mean, they have these guys that are coming up over the next 2-3 years that are going to put this team into contention, possibly. And now you've alienated half of them.
Yeah.
Are they going to even want to stick around? Even if you make major change within the organization and it becomes better, are they going to want to stick around because of the way you treat them now?
It depends. It depends on how much the 2 owners had dealt with and knew about the situation that Kevin Mather had dealt with. It's possible that they weren't fully aware of how Kevin Mather was running the team underneath them.
Well, that's probably true. I mean, the majority owners aren't based in the U.S. They're based in Japan.
So it's possible. It's more than likely that they weren't fully aware of the situation, or if they knew some aspects, they probably weren't. They probably didn't know enough of the story to know how real hard or difficult it was. So if that's the case, then I think we'll see real good change, like the culture change. We'll see that like holy crap, we're sorry we didn't know that this was this bad. That Kevin Mather was playing us all, basically type of deal, and he was just doing whatever he wanted and dumbing it down to us even.
Right.
So we could see serious change from that aspect, or you could see if it's the owners knew about it to any type of decent aspect that the players are gone. You're talking a rebuild on rebuilds because
they've been rebuilding for 2 decades.
Yeah, but you're talking a rebuild of even player talent. You're talking all your young studs are quitting on you. They want out. They want it with an organization that actually cares about their career and wants to win as well. So if it goes as far as the owners were in on all this bull crap that's happening, you're talking ownership change or severe rebuild of every player on the roster, rebuild of every coach on the roster type of thing. It depends on how far of the change it really goes.
Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling it probably doesn't like go all the way to the main owners, like I said,
I
because
doubt
they're
it.
such a they're not that hands on of owners,
Yeah.
compared to other organizations. So yeah, it probably does it. Hopefully they can turn around because like I said, like the Mariners are finally have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And, as an organization and the players that are coming up, they could end up being very, very good here shortly.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can turn around. I'd hate for them to see, the one bright spot they finally had going for them,
Yeah.
go dim in the blink of an eye like that. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where this story leads. I'm sure there'll be a lot more reports coming out through the offseason, the beginning of the season, or prior to season start. We'll see what kind of changes made.